Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fuja Yunifitri. My NPM 19220327. I'm from class 2019 B3. Here I will explain the role of the interpreter. The first, definition of the role. Role is a social science construct used to explain behavior and examine attitudes between at least two participants in any social situation. The concept of role is inextricably tied to the idea of a reciprocal relationship. Thus, dyads exist, such as doctor and the patient, teacher and the pupil, lawyer and the client, and etc. The essential point is that each of these roles exists only in relation to the other. Thus, a teacher can only be a teacher when there is a pupil to be taught. The role of a doctor only becomes evident in the presence of a patient. The common perception of role as a part which a person plays in a given situation is often used in the realm of entertainment, such as theater. This construct is useful in license interpreting situations to describe not only the relationship and attitudes of the clients to each other, but also the relationships between the interpreter and each client in turn. The second, comparisons with other professional and social roles. As in other professional roles, a reciprocal relationship is taken for granted, but the interpreter must maintain this role in relation to two clients and continually switch between them. Consequently, each client must not see the interpreter but must accept the interaction for what it is, a discussion between clients. Thus, the interpreter's role is both vicarious or being performed or on somebody else's behalf, and in effect a double role or being performed for two clients. Contextual factors contribute to a role which differs from other professional and social roles. Interpreters must, at all costs, regard themselves as the instrument rather than the focus of the communication. The first problem is that the relationship between the client and the interpreter extends beyond the interpreting situation. Thus, preliminaries such as greetings, direction briefings are carried out on a one-to-one basis with each client, either in person or by a telephone. The third, the interpreting interaction. In this section, an interpreted interaction will be examined with a view to highlighting the aspects which impinge on the role of the interpreter. We can assume that there is motivation to communicate for achievement of goals which are shared, at least to some extent, by the interlocutors. This implies a number of features such as the linear ones common to all communication between two people, namely the tendency to turn-taking, the necessity for a feedback loop, the inevitable noise, and other common possibilities and pitfalls. In summary, the structural requirements of the interpreted interaction are sometimes counterproductive in terms of communication outcomes, thus negatively affecting the perception of the role of the interpreter. Furthermore, the client's lack of familiarity with these consequences promotes negative impressions of the interpreter. When those who work with interpreters are familiar with the issues, the problems can be drastically reduced. The fourth, the concept of client. An interpreter has at least two clients at any one time. Theoretically, they have equal claim on the interpreter's expertise, irrespective of considerations such as who arranged for the interpreter to be present, who is paying the interpreter, who has briefed the interpreter. The concept of client relies on an understanding of the fundamental part which an interpreter plays in an interaction. It's precisely because there is no such general understanding amongst potential clients that this is an issue at all. It's understandable that the person calling an interpreter feels that, by expressing a need to communicate with the other person. They have taken the initiative and have the right to some measure of control over the interpreter. The fifth, the creation of the role. The creation of a role for interpreters must also be approached from a global perspective which seeks to place in operational terms the professional obligations which interpreters have to their clients and to their professional colleagues. The first element which affects the view of the interpreter's role is the question of language. The clients see the interpreter as a language converter, not as someone who is concerned with communication. Hence, the model of a tap which can be turned on and off at will and which will produce language, any language. The interpreter is seen only in terms of language competence, and conversely, the assumption is made that language competence is tantamount to interpreting competence. Furthermore, the client's regard is likely to depend on the number of languages they believe the interpreter speaks. And the sixth, translating and interpreting. Within the literature, much is assumed and little said about the differences between the two skills, apart from the fact that translation involves written text and interpreting involves oral ones. Two issues emerge as significant. The first is lack of consistency within the profession in the use of the two terms. Sometimes the distinction between written and oral text is respected. Sometimes the terms translation and translator incorporate the notion of interpreting and interpreter. The second concerns the interpreter often being asked to perform side translation, whereby a written document relevant to the situation is passed to the interpreter for immediate oral translation. In summary, the role of the licensed interpreter is governed by a matrix of dimensions, some to do with the interpreters themselves and some with the client's level of knowledge of the function. The central issue is the complex interaction between the activity which the interpreter performs, the way this is seen by the clients, and the way the profession itself sees the role is developing. And that's all from me. And thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.